Time's up. Happy Roman.
Here it comes.
Hail and howdy, everybody. Welcome back to Dr. Who Cares Reviews. We don't care. We're just here to shit on it. Oh boy, I think it's going to be a lively discussion today because of how this episode played out. Dot and Bubble. I had no idea what was going in. I know 2 out of the 3 of us did not see the twist at the end coming. Caught me off guard, and it just made me roll my eyes harder and laugh in disdain. But let's say hi to everybody. Hi, Dermy.
Hi. So I'll just give you the brief rundown. I like this episode till the twist, and now I think it's shit. I'm pissed. I'm really pissed.
Well, I'm excited to see your take on it through the whole thing, because you wanted to go off last night and I kept you from doing it because I said save it for the actual show where we're going to talk about this shit. But
I don't normally cuss in my reviews. My review tomorrow, there's a lot of F-bombs that come out.
I'll just put an interesting little audio cover over it, and
They're far enough in there. It doesn't have any problems. So,
hi Jed. I'm not gonna even make a joke. I just saw you.
Yeah, at this point, we've run out of all jokes about seeing each other recently. But I do want to say to the chat, happy Dermy month. This episode was definitely the most Dermy of episodes since the Devil's Court, of course. Besides the Devil's Court, I'd say it's the most Dermy episode we've gotten so far. So it's fitting to celebrate the beginning of Dermy month with very Dermy episodes. So, which it makes sense why he seemed to like the episode up until the twist. I thought it was shit the whole way through. But I could have predicted that. Yeah, up until that horrible ending, there was enough Dermy in there to keep Dermy happy.
I don't know how. You know what? No, screw it. We're making June Dermy month from now on. Fuck it all. Fuck it. It's Dermy. We're Dermy.
Well, listen, Raster's been making those memes all over the place today. So
it's Dinosaur Month or Dermy Month. And
I don't get this. I saw the Dinosaur Month thing. Why are you putting Godzilla on there? He's a kaiju. He's a dinosaur. He's a kaiju.
It's close enough. They just don't want to do gay shit.
Anyway,
Dinosaur, I'm impressed it kept up because I believe it started like a year or 2 ago and it's still going on June.
Well, that's
so
good. One of these days, this shit's gonna fade away. It's going to. It has to. We'll slide back into the proper timeline, and we'll forget all this nonsense ever happened. But
we just gotta turn CERN on again.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I'd say let's have a collective.
We gotta jump universes.
Collective willpower will pull us back to the right one.
We'll figure it out.
CERN could fuck us up even more. Let's be honest.
That's
true. Yeah. Do you want to go into a worse universe where it was always like this? Like Doctor Who was never good. Like Russell T Davies 2, the current version, went back and created the show in the 60s. That's what could happen. That could be a universe.
Oh my God. Let's not. You know what? Let's not entertain those ideas because that's a nightmare. And let's just deal with the nightmare in front of us. Disney Doctor Who with Ncuti Gatwa cosplaying the Doctor, and once again, really not in the episode. Really not.
It's an interesting trend. I've never seen a Dr. Light episode back to back with another Dr. Light episode. Is that maybe they're worried about his performance? Maybe he wasn't around as much as they'd hoped. It definitely is suggestive, at least. It's not definitive proof. But,
there is interviews prior to this season that he was not really. He wants to do other stuff than just Doctor Who. He doesn't even know how long he's going to be the Doctor. So
he doesn't care about the role.
Oh, he doesn't. Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right. Before we get deeper into this, hail and howdy to everybody across our chats. We're happy to have you here. And for those of you new, welcome. Welcome to what we do around here. We actually do take time out from random shit and actually do dedicated streams like this where we watch this garbage so you don't have to. We suffer. We enjoy making you entertained by our suffering. Let's just say it that way. And as these types of shows goes, it's more of us doing a lot of discussion, but we are watching the chat. We do see you there. So if you are seriously have interaction, we will see something and know that we're watching, and we're happy to have you here. So hit that like button, subscribe to all the channels in the description below, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the show live or on the replay. All right, so Jed, you bring up a good point. It is really interesting the fact that once again, like last week where he was literally not in it, Ncuti is peripherally in the show, and the Doctor really doesn't do shit.
Oh God, no! And
Does
it's never
nothing.
explained what he's even trying to do. How did he get here? Why was he involved? How was he in the tunnels? How did he know about this place? None of it's explained. And yeah, what little involvement he has besides one scene at the very, very end where he's in person, it's clearly just in front of a green screen that they could have knocked out in a day. So he legitimately could have been on set for 2 days for this episode.
Not even.
Taken a
Not
few-
even. I feel like it done in a day.
They could have. It's definitely possible. It's just a little bit more than I would expect them to cram in a single day, but it absolutely could be in a day. So what's the secrets behind this?
Normally when an episode begins, we've had episodes where you get the prologue, the preamble, and it's before the credits, and it's not the Doctor and a companion, and it's the world.
That's totally normal.
But then usually when we jump post credits, the Doctor and the companion arrive, or they're about to arrive, and there's usually some reason, like maybe the
Even
Doctor
if it's a
wants.
mistake.
Yeah, usually it might be the TARDIS is bringing you there for a reason, which is that's the old standby, or the Doctor maybe wants to show something off to the companion, or has promised to take them someplace they wanted to go,
like your first planet or something.
Or it's just, boo, oh, I just spotted something interesting on this sensor or whatever. Oh, let's go just check this out. Aren't you curious? Let's have Doctor and companion curiosity. Something like that. But now, for at least 2 episodes in a row, with last week with 73 yards, there was no clear reason to why they were there.
Oh, they gave a reason. It was just stupid. It's like, I want to see whales. I want to see the cliffs.
Yeah, that's not a reason. That's retarded. No.
Yeah. And it's a little bit more than we got this week, but.
And then this week, it's, we're here to help, but why are you here in the first place? Did you go to the home world and discover it blasted and decide to check out what's going on there?
No, I'm pretty sure if they went to Homeworld, they would and saw anything going on there, they wouldn't have come here. They would have said, "Fuck it, leave them on to their fates."
Well, this is Shooty. He doesn't.
This is not the Doctor.
Dermy, you look at this episode and the way it flows. You said you actually enjoyed it.
Yes.
Can you explain why?
I enjoyed it because for the majority of the time, it was a criticism of millennials and Zoomers always being on their phones, relying on their phones, relying on social media, always being connected and not realizing what's going on in the real world. Now, there were stupid things that came from that. You can't walk. You can't walk without arrows.
I need to be told direction. I need to be told I have to pee.
Yeah, but I view this as
it was way too far. It was way too stupid.
It was too far, but I viewed it. This is a society that has been just they rely on this so much that they don't know how to do basic human functions anymore. There's a line towards the end where she's realizing like people used to do a bunch of manual labor. She was shocked that one guy doesn't actually, Ricky September isn't on his bubble all the time and reads books. That shocked her. So that's how I looked at it as like, yeah, there's stupid things going on here, but I like this criticism. It is also a criticism that's done better in Black Mirror.
I'm there with you in the sense that it's blatantly obvious that this is a critique on social media and how people are too deep into it. That's a legitimate story to tell, but the execution was god awful. Good way to put it. God awful. The dialogue is terrible. Usually when it's a secondary companion type character who they're there to help, there's something engaging about them. What's his chick's name? Lindsay, Lolly, Lindy.
Yeah, Lindy Pepper or whatever.
She was the moment she appears, I wanted her to get smothered. It's okay. We're early enough.
I said a word I didn't mean to say.
I would have said cunt at some point.
Yeah, listen, we're talking British television here. That's like an everyday word over there. It's fine.
It's fun. But everything in this episode was executed so poorly. I feel like Russell T Davies, especially with the last few episodes, thinks he's a genius. Like his opinion of himself is next level egotistical. He thinks he's Christopher Nolan, but he's actually Zack Snyder. And that's the impression I've gotten from these last few episodes, where he almost gets a sort of interesting idea, like you're saying, Dermy. Like at face value, it could have been an interesting episode in another show. It is not a Doctor Who episode, like you said. This would fit good in Black Mirror, but he doesn't know how to pay anything off. There's no resolution. Just like in the last episode, there wasn't any resolution to 73 yards. And it's not because, it's cooler because it's ambiguous. It's because I legitimately believe he did not know what the solution to any of this was. He could not come up with a reason that made sense.
So real quick, Jed, did you read the article where he ended up saying that, he didn't do a resolution and didn't really do anything because he wanted the audience to do it for him?
Yes, he said he would never tell the audience what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And you're right.
It's just an excuse.
Yeah, he does think he's better than he is. But when I was watching this episode, there's stupid things going on. There's all this stupidness. I didn't even care, though, how they were dressed and all the gayness. Because my head
it was annoying when Ricky September comes in and they're all suddenly drooling over him. All of them. That's just like, really?
It's the gayest episode besides Devil's Court.
The doctor's going to stop trying to save everybody because he's suddenly thirsty. It's
very
just
thirsty.
It's a complete mishandling of how the doctor behaves in the situation. And here's also the thing. I don't feel like the doctor would have been kept out of that city.
He would have found a way in. That stupid fucking lock that doesn't make any sense. Ooh, this is a random lock that has digits you have to enter every 5 seconds.
That's exactly what the sonic screwdriver is designed to get by. And
it gave him the codes. He's like, here, I'll send the codes to you. The Sonic is getting the codes for them to enter. There's no way he would be kept out of this bubble city. Fine time.
It doesn't make
sense. And the TARDIS, is the bubble keeping the TARDIS out? That dome
nothing to keep. It takes something of cosmic godly
technology.
Power to keep the TARDIS away from anything.
They just didn't want him in the episode and didn't bother explaining why.
Yeah, but they didn't want him in the episode so that the final twist can be the final twist. Because if he was actually in there the entire time, you can't drop the final moment. And we're gonna save it. We gotta build up to it. Last week we were all over the place. We gotta build up to this one, guys. If you don't know what happened in the last 5 minutes of the episode, that basically broke Dermy's little heart. Okay, this whole world, as we learn later on, it's a rich kid sleepaway camp of sorts where they don't have to do any work and they mostly party, and it's controlled by literally social media. It's
Silicon Valley. It is just Silicon Valley.
No, Silicon Valley actually does stuff. They still manufacture.
But what I more mean, like, and I said this in my review. You remember all those videos from all the tech developers that were coming out a few years ago that, this is my day in the life of a Google employee. This is the
shit that like all the Twitter stuff before they got bought by Elon, and then they're
all that stuff.
Then they're only cat food on the side of the road afterwards.
Yeah, all that stuff that was coming out, how they were all over the place doing all this stuff. They're pampered. They do all this. They don't really do any work. That's how it came off to me. They're elite socialites that get paid a lot of money to do literally nothing but play all the time.
Yeah, and
that's
what
how
did they
I
even?
see it.
And here's the interesting thing: they talk about, and this is what occurred to me. They say, "Well, we just play," but you're people who've never actually interacted with each other, because later on it's, what's a hug? These people have no physical interaction with anything. So what are they doing when they play?
What did their parties look like? It said we can jump on this server. That was one suggestion the red-haired chick made on the screen. Well, I'll jump on this one server, and it seems like they're just gonna like dance together. They're just gonna go.
I don't even think they're human, because at one point in the middle of the episode, beginning before we get a good look at the snail slug alien monsters, or they're created. These created beasts,
which doesn't make sense.
When one of them is eating somebody, I saw green blood on the sidewalk.
I did see that. That was weird. I'm guessing that was like the slug, like how slugs leave a trail behind them.
No,
I don't know.
It looked like splatter from a chomp to me.
It was blood.
I don't think these were humans, because they call it the homeworld. They don't refer to Earth.
It's definitely not Earth. I assumed it was just a colony way deep in the future.
Possibly.
But the green blood, I did notice. That was weird.
Yeah.
I don't have an explanation for it. Maybe they just don't want to be too violent on Disney Plus.
Well, here's why I think they're not human, because when we first get Lollipop, I'm going to call her Lollipop. I don't know why. When we first get Lollipop in the beginning, and Dr. P she says, do I need to pee? It's like, no, you haven't had to pee in a long time. I don't
3
think
days.
Their bodily functions don't work normal.
That could be conditioning for facilitate this social media lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They could have evolved. It's so weird how their society worked. Like, you don't need a pee. You play all day. You're all rich kids. That's why you dress like freaks. I guess you're trying to be Zoomers, but you don't look like Zoomers. You act like millennials, and this is insane.
And here's the funny thing. I'm going to go back to Russell T. Davies not understanding anything. Remember the cast of friend characters in her bubble. Paul Goth or Goth Paul. That's not a goth. That's a freaking emo.
Gothic Paul.
Gothic Paul. That wasn't even a goth. That was an emo dude.
Yeah.
They don't know, and they don't understand the difference. This is definitely an episode inspired by TikTok, watched by an old boomer who has no idea what TikTok actually is.
Yeah, well, his whole
definitely
worldview
an outsider.
His whole worldview is honestly becoming like built by TikTok. There was another interview where he said like he doesn't care about Twitter, but TikTok is the real world, and that's where the real world is. But so yeah, the moment you brought up TikTok, this was a TikTok episode.
It wasn't, but this isn't even TikTok.
No,
because at least in TikTok, people are actually still doing shit. Yes, it's mostly retarded, dumbest shit in the world, but they're still doing shit. These people they don't even have real backgrounds behind them. It's just the bubble.
I don't know how those backgrounds work. Because
it's like a green screen inside the bubble.
I guess, but they knew that she was laying down and sleeping. So
and once in a while, you see the slug monster get behind somebody and eat them within the bubble.
It's very inconsistent. The technology is incredibly inconsistent. Like the lucky slug eating, no one saw anyone else eating prior to when she needed to make a point. And the dot and bubble technology in and of itself, if you just want to drop the bubble, that's fine. Why do you have to turn off the dot every time?
At one point in time, she turned the bubble around and could see through it. Then what is the point of not? Yes, her bubble eventually ran out of juice, but
and then didn't.
Well,
she ran and turned it back on.
She did get the recharge. She got the recharge. Yeah,
when they were trying to call Homeworld, she was charging her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And that's the thing. The recharge is a physical thing. They are the recharge. They are the battery. So that lends against to what I'm saying. I don't think these people are humans. I think they're an offshoot.
It's just a bad plan in and of itself. What we find out what the villains of the episode are, the sentience of it, what their plan is when they're fully capable.
What was the eventual villain? Let's jump to that. Who are the villains? Villains. I think the villains are right, by the way.
Yeah, it is the worst reveal in Doctor Who history. The Doctor figured out that the people who are being eaten by the slugs are being eaten in alphabetical order, and he acts like he just solved the question of the universe. It's like, no. And it's like, they're being eaten in alphabetical order. I had already seen that. It's not that complicated, and the Doctor's smarter than this. He's acting like a retarded kid thinking he's a genius, but he gleans from that this is an intelligent design, and the only intelligence available are the dots themselves. So the dots have somehow become intelligent, decided that they're going to wipe out humanity because they hate them, and they're going to build slug monsters to eat them in alphabetical order. For no apparent reason, the alphabetical order doesn't actually...
There's a reason for why they want to kill. The alphabetical order doesn't make sense. There's a reason.
They're annoying as hell.
Let's be real fair here.
What I mean by inexplicable, like the technology becoming self-aware and hating them. But they're fully able to kill themselves. If you wanted to do it, just have, all right, you activate dot right here. You're next. And you just shoot through the person's head. And it's quick, easy, painless.
From my understanding, they were AIs that gained sentience. And
that's about it.
Well, why were they AIs? It was never suggested.
Yeah.
That they were artificial. They were just
that's
technology.
An excellent point. It was never once hinted until that moment that the dots were AI. They were just a smart. I mean, essentially, they were a smartphone. But now suddenly, I mean, listen, my phone
they showed no
is not
more
applied to
intelligence
kill
than
me.
Siri. It showed no more intelligence than Siri. It just reacted to voice commands and could give GPS instructions.
I could firmly believe that eventually, one of our cell phones would gain sentience and try to kill us all because there's a lot of people on the internet that say
mine
stupid
loves
shit.
Me. I don't do anything on my phone. Mine loves me. I
Well,
just check the weather.
And my biggest question is because this has been set up as, oh my God, evil rich people. Like the stands have been losing their minds. Just a side note here. It's been really funny to watch the stand reactions on Twitter because half of them are really excited. It's like, oh my God, Russell did eat the rich. Yay, we hate rich people. And then the other half are like, the doctor saved races. Slugs are the right ones.
Oh, you spoiled
Russell
it.
didn't do enough. Whatever.
You spoiled it.
All right.
I don't.
I
But-
know.
But
Well-
if it is all about the rich kids and that's what this is all about, why did the homeworld end up like it was? We can assume that they're not
Yeah.
all rich people.
So-
So are they all addicted to their bubbles?
I think they're all
Are they-
addicted to the bubbles. I think that's heavily implied,
Then the
especially when
classism doesn't make sense because
Yeah, it
everyone
doesn't
has
make
a,
Yeah.
a
Because
dot.
and the thing about the dot, then I'm gonna go back to that. Did see if this was a real Doctor Who episode and the Doctor had been involved, there would have been a little bit of a side mystery of how did we get here, and he would have traced the emergence of the intelligence of the dot. And you know what the Doctor would have done too? He would have tried to negotiate with the dots because that's what the Doctor does.
Mhm.
The Doctor tries to find
He would
out.
have actually stopped it from happening. He saved a boat full of people. He didn't actually save anyone besides
You realize
Pepper. She was
there
the
were-
only person they saved.
They realize, and at the end of there's like maybe 12 people there. That's not enough to start anything.
no,
That's not enough genetic diversity to start anything. And I stress diversity in a moment. We'll get to that.
And
Generally
the
speaking,
doctor's
but-
clearly so ignorant on everything, but suddenly he knows if they go out there, they're going to die on this forest planet versus the forest planet he could have taken them to.
well, let's remember this Doctor is maybe a few months old.
he's
This
retarded.
Doctor is a clone
Mm-hmm.
of
A bad clone. He's
bad
defective.
clone
Yeah.
of what would be the Doctor. I mean, we can make the arguments that everything post Peter Capaldi isn't the Doctor, but if we keep going along that time, like this is a clone. It's split off. It doesn't have an actual history. It doesn't have actual experience. All of its experiences and knowledge and everything it does is borrowed
Mhm.
from somebody else. There is no way to argue around that. Stans can cry all they want. It's borrowed memories because David Tennant 14 is still the progression of the original Doctor.
If he's
Whether
still
we
in
like
the
it-
same universe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's-
the original universe. This is, because remember, we're multiversing now.
Because it's
We're
so hit.
multiversing. Yeah, and no explanation. They still haven't actually explicitly said in the show that we
Mhm.
exist in a multiverse.
Mhm.
They're leaving that to interviews and side material.
Because
in
they're not smart enough
articles.
to integrate it. They're not.
Yeah.
Russell is not smart enough to do anything in sci-fi anymore.
no, he's
So-
only able to do propaganda and messaging.
Yeah, and the way he's not even good at doing his propaganda anymore because this whole episode, the way it pushes along, what is the point aside from social media bad? What is the purpose of this episode?
Oh, white people are racist.
Yeah.
Well, okay, there it is. We go through this whole thing, and we'll jump around now and get towards the end so we can bring this into the conversation officially.
Before
Go
we
ahead.
jump around to the end, there are actually several, just like we'd mentioned in the last few, rehashes of old things, even if they're
Mhm.
small references. The main chick, Pepper or whatever, she fully quoted a scene from Midnight. It's coming
really?
from me. Like that first girl who got
Really?
possessed, the older lady who got possessed by whatever shadow creature and started mimicking everyone.
Uh-huh.
Right before she gets possessed, she's looking up at the ceiling and says, "It's coming for me. It's coming for me." She even had the inflection the same way. She was 100% shown this scene and said, "Do this scene."
You see, that's
That-
why
that's-
I love you because you'll catch that shit and I won't catch
Mhm.
it. So
Well,
Uh.
before we get to that part too, did you guys notice how our hero, Ricky September, who's also slightly a villain, he had to ask permit. He was apologetic
this
for
okay?
the accidental
Can I hold
hug,
your hand?
and then
She
trying to be
hunted.
the hero. Is it okay if I grab
If I-
your hand? That's some
Yeah.
beta male shit. Just do it. You're the hero.
and there was something about that dude's face that was a little off-putting to me.
Oh, it was all the
not-
makeup. He had
Yeah.
way too much makeup on. And,
I mean,
but the
that
Twitter
dude
stands are-
was not 22.
Oh, there's no way. But the Twitter stands were saying, "Oh my God, I love him. He's the greatest ever. Isn't he great?" He was racist too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. All right, so let's jump to that. So after this whole thing, and when you look back on it now, you see the signs in the episode. But at the very end, Lollipop Pepper gets to the safe thing after
Killing.
after. Or here, I gotta that This is where I thought for a minute we'd have an actual doctor moment.
Mhm.
We mentioned before, they reached this passcode keypad, and the dude Ricky is capable of actually dealing with it. He's inputting numbers, and then that's when they realize that the AI dots are trying to kill them. So what happens? He tells Lollipop Pepper to go and punch in the keys, and he's going to defend her with a pipe and play baseball or stickball with the evil eye dot. And at the very end is when they figure out, oh, hey, it's alphabetical. They're killing us in alphabetical order. And the last one, she's the next on the list. So that's why she's going to die next. And there's no monsters down there. So the AI thing's trying to kill her. And then suddenly the door is opening. She gets it open, but he misses the attack, I think, and it's zeroing in on her. It's zeroing in on her. Okay.
It moves back, breaks a chain lands on his
him on
head.
the head. You're right. The crane hit him on the hook hit him on the head.
Which was so pathetically placed.
Yeah,
The set design.
Anyway, so now she's undefended, and it's gonna kill her. But then she says, "No, wait. His real name is Ricky blah blah blah, but his last name begins with a C. Crowbar.
Ricky Cooper.
What? Cooper.
Ricky Cooper.
Cooper. And he changed his name for his videos.
He changed his name when he hit 50,000 subscribers. Shouldn't the AI know that?
Yes, it should.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So, but what she does is he's been fighting to protect her for the whole middle part of the episode, and then she just throws him literally under the AI bus so that she can get away. And then the thing just ganks him right through the head. Boom, goes right through his head because he can't defend himself.
Which is such a big problem. The slugs are null and void if the dots have this capability.
Exactly.
Just shoot through their heads in order.
Why go through this whole thing? Could have been a universal, one giant instantaneous boop, and it's all over. That you realize that Jed just made the perfect point. Why are they doing this if the dot AI they're all universally standing there in front of everybody, even if they're asleep. As soon as they wake up, they could have done it to everybody. It could have been one universal mass murder.
And they're fully capable of not obeying orders. Like in that scene, she's like, dot off, and it was ignoring her. So that the people don't need to be awake to activate them. Nothing.
Okay,
there's that possibility too.
My brain's doing its thing.
You're catching up.
No, my brain just realized something.
Okay.
What? Because I understand why the dots want to kill everybody.
Because they're horrible people.
Because they're horrible people, and they're trying to save the world from this curse, which is internet. But at the same time, the dots need the humans to survive because the humans are the ones that charge them. Mm-hmm. So if they kill all the humans, do they just kill themselves? Is this like a suicide pact?
They probably want sweet oblivion is what they want. They want sweet oblivion. Right. After constant TikTok behavior or TikTok chatter, they want sweet oblivion. That's my guess. But you have to understand. So
the doctor would have figured that out and tried, like he said, give the dots a chance. It's like, it's clear you guys don't expect to survive this genocide. Well, I can help you. He would have at least tried to understand, to communicate.
So she essentially murders the man, the white hero that had been trying to save her. And I say that specifically again, we're gonna get to it now. And then I thought when she went into the door and found the doctor, Shruti Gatwa, and Millie Titson, and protecting all those people there, that he would have figured it out. Where's Ricky?
Yeah, because he wanted that white dick.
He was thirsty. Yeah, besides the point. But he would have done a doctor thing is, hey, wait a minute, where is he? And I'm the doctor. I can smell your lie or some shit like that, which the doctor is capable of doing. Nope.
He never figured it out.
No. And all that happens then is as all these 20-something, some are not even 20s, they're like 17 to 19 too. There's like
17 to 27. But what happens to them after they're 27?
Back to the homeworld? I don't know. We don't know.
The AI takes care of them.
Well, that's what happens now. But what was the original plan?
I don't know.
I guess go back to the homeworld to work.
Well, I mean, it's not like they're having sex. It's not. They're not having sex on that planet.
How does reproduction work on the homeworld?
I don't know how.
I don't think they're all like that. I don't believe the homeworld is. I don't think the homeworld is.
We don't know because the homeworld got wiped out first.
I would imagine they'd have dots, but they can't operate that society like they did Fine Time.
So-
It's impossible. So it has to be kind of a pseudo like mix of a normal society and the Fine Time society. So the
they
AI
ended up,
wouldn't have enough to hate there.
they showed us the homeworld for a moment, and when you stare at homeworld, that place looks like hell.
Well,
It
was hell
looks like
because
industrialized
they'd already done
London.
to the home world what they're doing to Fine Time. They'd already done it because you saw one of the slug snail monsters sitting
Which
there.
was
in
so
population
terrible.
0.
So what you got there
His
now is
reaction was awful.
you got about the 12 people that have survived and are going to go off and win wilderness. And after this whole, we're all happy with each other. And then here comes Shutigawa actually wearing his so-called doctor outfit. You noticed he had on the jacket and the
first time
pants.
since the Christmas special, I think.
Yeah,
First since Christmas.
Since he was watching Millie Gibson Ruby from the audience when she was in her gay bar band. So he's actually in his uniform and he tries to tell them, wait a minute. It's like Jed told us a minute ago, you can't go to the wilderness, you're gonna die. And now they look at Lollipop Pepper, looks at him and says, listen, I had with one thing when you were a screen and I didn't have to get close to you, but now you're right here. No, because basically you're black. And he doesn't say it, but it's all done.
They
right
blatant they do essentially say it because you have her
black.
redheaded friend go like, "Oh, it's bigger on the inside. We don't want to be around that voodoo." And the other white guy that's taking charge goes like, "Yeah, you're an outsider, not like us."
Well, my favorite line is that dude you're talking about when they're trying to turn away. It's like, turn away, ladies, before he contaminates you.
I know.
It's so blatant.
So there it is. We go through 40 minutes of this episode, and at first thinking, okay, these just I want to kill these people anyway because they're retarded Zoomers. But then it's now the real evil is that they're racists. They're white supremacists. They hate black people.
So bad.
And Shooty has this melt. And Millie Gibbs like, oh my God, I'm gonna be sick. I can't believe this. And Shooty has this meltdown. He's screaming, and then right on cue, it's time for crying.
Yep.
Oh, he spits out the biggest glob of shit all over the place, and he's freaking out. And they're looking at him like, "Yeah, this is what we'd expect. Like this crazy, over-the-top behavior is what they expect. Like he's not helping himself. It's just a terrible."
But the thing about the doctor is that even if they don't want his help, he'd still help them. He'd still go through with it because he doesn't want people to die. But no, they're now they are racist, and he's freaking out because they don't like because I'm black, and just does nothing.
He just lets them go off to their death.
Just the whole thing. More racism. And you look back, you see it through the whole episode. Like as soon as he jumps into Lollipop Peppermint's bubble, it's like, go away, ew, block, ew. And even Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was supposed to be the hero. And we kind of liked it. Oh, and I found it really odd that they had a white guy doing heroic stuff.
Yeah.
But now you realize when Shooty's trying to explain to him the passcode thing, goes, I understand, black man. I get it. I know how to work a keypad. I don't need you to tell me.
Well, when it ended up being Ruby that has to talk Lolly bitch into doing anything, and it recontextualized why Lolly cunt was willing to listen to Ruby because she's white.
She's nice and Aryan.
Yep. they're all fucking white. They're white supremacists.
And now you realize that everybody in Fun Time is whitey. You realize that
everybody at the homeworld must be whitey, and they must all. This is just a planet filled with racism.
Planet racism. The homeworld is planet racism.
Well, we don't know about that. They clearly have interacted with diverse people before. They're aware of them.
Well,
they're just poor.
That means they're the
homeworld.
slaves, Jed.
But they still all got killed by the AI. So the whole message of the episode is like, don't be more racist and stuff is taken out because how many diverse people were killed by the savior AIs that Twitter is now celebrating?
Because sweet oblivion. They don't care. They they want silence. They don't want to hear it anymore.
One of my this is not a Doctor Who show, but this is Stargate, when they did their racist episode, when they met their versions
that
of racism.
it's that early season 4 episode. That is a brilliant episode with Renee Auberjonois as the head of that thing. Oh, that is a fantastic episode.
That's a beautiful episode, and they're doing this whole thing. They're working with them, and they discover the racists, and they've been assisting them. So then they turn on them.
Jack just turns it all around on them, and at the last one, he said, when they're fleeing the planet, says, you don't want to come through. We're going to close the door behind us, and you're not welcome here." But they tries to go through, and you hear the thump. Oh, yeah, see, that's a real show. Stargate, like Star Trek, knows how to handle these situations, make it entertaining, and not just be more racism. And that thing, and to think about that episode in Stargate, it wasn't just because black people; they called them breeders. It was about even more than that. That they were, it was all kinds of people that didn't line up with their purity example that group had. But that's good.
Russell himself has been able to tell a better racism story in the past. I don't know if you wrote it, but it was during his era in the final David Tennant season 4 with Donna and Martha both there with the Hath. If you guys remember the Hath episode with Martha, where they're going to find the sauce when he's saying the source, the doctor's daughter, who Georgia Tennant now, who David eventually married. And like that one, you could say was very much built on racism through generations of not realizing that they were allies at the beginning.
Well, also, not just that, you also have the Ood. When you go to that whole when they're dealing with the slavery, especially with Donna, and like how they get bred and everything like that, they subjugate them. They hate them because they're lesser beings. And they're just workers, and it's like, no, this is bad. Racism is bad. They've had clever ways to do the racism narrative, but they just can't do it anymore.
Today, it was just black person. We don't like black person. Racist.
The whole racism part of this ruins the episode. It's what made me so angry because I was fond of the episode. I thought it was a well written episode. My head canon was, these are all TikTok people that, need to die. And I thought, hey, you know what? RTD did a good thing. Oh, it's all racism allegory. Fuck you.
It's really about racism. It's not about that.
And it doesn't actually make sense in any way, shape, or form. We get zero answers. We get zero explanations. We get nothing to latch onto. I believe this is a terrible episode beginning to end with a half nugget of an interesting idea that was just so poorly executed that there's nothing redeeming in this episode for me. The Devil's Court is probably still the worst Shutagawa episode, but this one's in contention for me. And every week I feel like, oh, this is the new worst one, with the exception of Boom. But it's just so consistently bad.
Well, the thing is this, and I brought this up earlier. I'm still waiting. We are now 4 episodes in. Or is it 5? No,
4.
4?
No,
It's 4
5.
episodes in.
5.
Premiere, Boom, 7.
No.
This is actually 5.
We
This
had
is 5.
Yeah, because we got the
5,
double release.
Yeah, this is 5. I'm still waiting for the Doctor to do something.
Yeah, he has not contributed to anything that's happened. He hasn't even won an episode so far. Like, he hasn't saved the day or anything.
I mean, and the only time he ever did do anything was gank the Goblin ship in the Christmas special. And that
he murdered the goblins.
And that was still un-Doctor-like.
He committed genocide.
Exactly.
He committed genocide. Like, you take a look at everything that's happened. Yeah, he didn't care. We've been pointing out, like, the Doctor would communicate with these people. The Doctor would try to find a way to save them all. And then you get to, like, Space Babies, where he's saving the booger monster for no apparent reason. It shows no signs of sentience. He would actually probably gank that. He's been doing everything that the Doctor wouldn't do. He's, like, everything.
Very actively.
It's all inaccurate. It's all the exact opposite. He's not the Doctor. He's Shutagawa. And he cries at almost every episode. The only episode he didn't cry in,
he wasn't
was
in
73 yards because he wasn't there.
Yeah. And
you sure he didn't cry at the end?
No,
he's
didn't.
Like, we should let them rest.
No. He listen.
He might have.
He didn't cry because breaking the seal wasn't a crying event. That's why. Honey, sweetie, all that crap he does. But you look at the whole thing now, and we have that. So the Doctor hasn't actually done anything to save anybody. And where's the story of this season?
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
It's been lost.
The only thing that's connecting things is apparently there's something with Ruby's past, and there's this old lady who keeps cropping up who they're noticing.
We have 3 episodes left on this season, 4 if you count the Christmas special. And
the last two's a 2-parter, I believe.
Yeah,
that will be in theaters.
we're gonna get a double. We're gonna get double duty in 2 weeks.
Oh,
We just have
I
the Gabe
can't
Bridgerton episode left, and then the finale.
Yeah,
that
next
has
week is-
owls.
I don't know.
Yeah, bird
Yeah.
people. For some
Furries!
reason.
Furries.
Which
you
episode?
think-
Which is the episode based on his very leftist liberal bubble? That's the one that I'm curious about.
Aren't they all, Jeremy?
Aren't they?
Well,
Aren't they all?
Gatwa said there's an episode based on his race because it can't address.
Well-
You can't ignore it. He's on Earth all the time, so humans.
Well, this was
everybody's gonna
racism
notice it.
today.
Well, it wasn't Earth.
This
Yeah, it
one
his
was pretty
racist
big.
episode.
But if they're talking about Earth, I'd say the next one's the best candidate because it's in the past. I feel like the 1800s or 1700s, whenever it's taking place,
Is
would
he
be a
gonna
pretty
get his-
good candidate.
Is he gonna
Well,
get his back blown out?
He's
Is he
got
gonna
his
take it?
pompadour ready to get pumped in the next.
Oh,
episode.
something that we haven't talked about even last week. They were celebrating the fact that last week in 73 Yards, apparently, I didn't notice it when it happened, was the first Doctor Who episode to ever have the word pee in it. When Millie at the beginning went around the back of the TARDIS says, "Are you having a pee back here?" And they were very proud of that fact, so they included pee in this episode too. Back-to-back, brand new pee references.
Okay.
Is that something
I
to
mean-
be proud of?
I guess
Listen,
because it's
listen.
more mature, so I wouldn't be surprised if he actually has gay sex in the next
How about
episode.
that? I'm gonna go take a pee when we're done with this episode tonight. How's that? Oh, whoa, earth shattering. Go use the bathroom.
Well, you bring up P. The reason for why everybody's getting ganked
Jeremy gets excited.
is interesting. Well, no, but they had this whole mystery. I'm not gonna lie. When I was trying to figure out why the slug monsters aren't eating people, is it because they need a pee?
I thought it was the pee thing for a second. On it, Dermy, I am there with you. For a second, I was wait a minute. It's because some of them are peeing and not peeing. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's because I'm trying to be too clever.
Yeah,
trying
that
to
was
read
way
more
too
into it.
clever.
But
Well-
we come back to that though. There is no. Where is this story of Ruby Sunday that's supposed to be ground and earth shattering? And
It
supposed
snows
to be the biggest thing ever?
sometimes.
Yeah,
It
I'm
didn't
still
snow
wondering.
today.
Yeah,
No snow.
But I don't know if you guys watched this episode, but I'm shocked that we had a more blatantly racist episode than Rosa Parks in Jodie
God, that
Whittaker's
was a
first
bad
season.
one.
but
This is way more blatant.
yeah.
And-
No, Jay, finish your thought. Finish your thought. 'Cause I'm gonna
Oh,
ask you
but
something
this
else.
is way more blatant than the episode dealing with the civil rights movement.
Yeah, that Rosa Parks needed white people to tell her to go sit in the back of the bus.
She needed a white
uh,
Karen to tell her to do it.
But Jed, you bring up the racism, and you were talking to me earlier. The stands are being very strange
Mhm.
in their reaction over the rate. Explain it to me in your words, because I didn't tell Dermot. I said I'm gonna let Jed explain it because it's his story to tell.
All right. So I happen to see a lot of stands on Twitter because I like to laugh at them. I don't really interact with them, not like Adam, who finds enjoyment out of it, but they just come across my timeline quite a bit. And this episode's been very funny because there's been division. Of course, they're not attacking each other because they all love Doctor Who, but or this version of it at least. Some of them are praising it to hell and back, saying it's their favorite episode because, oh my God, Russell, you did Eat the Rich. I hate rich people too. Good job. And then other ones are like, you know, this is like a 6 out of 10, which is really bad for the stand. 6 out of 10 because he saved the races. The Doctor should have let the racist people die. The slugs were the real heroes. We should have been helping the slugs. One person even went so far as to say, God, I really wish the Doctor would have pulled out like an RPG or something and blown up that boat full of racists at the end.
Well,
Like they're mad that Russell didn't go farther. They're straight up saying, Russell, you nearly had a great racism episode, but then you let the racists live.
to be fair, he does kind of let the racists die. They're not going to survive. And if anybody thinks
They barely learned
retarded.
how to walk.
Yeah, they can't
Yeah.
walk. I doubt they know how to light a fire. I doubt they can even wipe their own asses. I
God.
mean,
The walking part was so cringe.
That was
like
so-
I get that you might be a little unsteady on your feet, but you're not going to try to go forward and like lean right.
and
You walk
walking
straight-
into the pole. She walked into the pole.
She has
Twice.
eyes.
I know. What? You can't see the pole? Just move.
It
Yeah.
was so dumb. That's why I pretty much from the beginning of the episode, I was laughing about how bad it was.
I was just cringing most of the time from the dialogue. Honestly,
Dialogue is
this their version of Zoomer speak. It was mind-numbing.
Clearly from a
And-
boomer who doesn't know any Zoomers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm going to ask it again. What is the point of this season so far?
Be gay.
Well, that is a thing. I'm not doing it as a joke. That is literally a thing. It's let's make sure everybody knows that everybody's gay. I mean, listen, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in this thing, I think he was gay or bi because he didn't seem put off at the thought of doing a dude.
Just not a black dude.
Yeah, just not a black dude.
Yeah.
I think they're all pretty much baseline gay over in that fucking bubble. Because they're all
the men
Zoomers
were
and
wearing
millennials.
10 times more makeup than any of the women.
There
And they
was
were all
one guy that was
feminine, too.
blatantly gay, and it's like,
They're
yeah,
all very flaming.
feminine. Yeah.
Oh my God.
all
That was one
TikTokers.
thing that I was surprised about. What was Russell's point of making all the gay people super racist?
Here's the thing.
He's racist. That's what it means.
I don't think he knows what he's doing.
I don't. I agree.
He's so caught up in I'm Russell T. Davies that he doesn't understand that these portrayals are not winning. This isn't a win here. Having Planet of racist, very gay people isn't a win.
It's all to pursue the message, but in the end, he fucked everything up. Like, I've already been on record. I liked the narrative up to a point. Then the episode became just dog water and fucking propaganda, like it's always been. But then you just showed that the Doctor will save racism. So that this is all it is. You fucked up your own messaging. Nothing makes sense. So all the gay people are racist, white, rich, and you save them. So then when you put this out into the real world, Pride Month is also now White Month.
Huh?
That was a bad joke. That was a bad joke.
Yeah.
Didn't play through.
Swing and a miss. But you notice, you gotta. There were no Asians in this one. There were no Latinos in this one.
Because they were racist.
Yeah, it's all white racism. And if once upon a time, the reveal of an episode or the climax of an episode where everything comes together and the Doctor has to fix things, there's some profoundness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is more racism, it's usually it could have been done with a true clever twist, not just we're all white and looking. And also, these people in the show, none of them can act. They have their expressions are always, and I think there was a very lame attempt at the end while they're going away in the boat that maybe have Lollipop Pepper sort of look like she feels remorse about what she's done, but there's not, and
it came off pretentious and like I won. I killed the guy who was supposed to be the hero. That's also a racist.
She had no remorse for the guy she'd been obsessing over the entire episode.
Yeah.
The guy that everybody loves, and she got to meet him and was the greatest day of her life. Oh, minus all the people dying. Suddenly, she that's a great way to put it, Jed. No remorse. Nothing about leaving someone to die who was protecting you.
It's not solid at all. This episode wants to be Black Mirror, wants to be like subtle, ambiguous, thought-provoking, but it just fails at that in every single aspect. Russell has formed his propaganda into a baseball bat more than even Chris Chibnall was capable of, which is really saying something. But he wanted you to hate her by the end of the episode, and so he made sure you did in the most blatant, obvious way possible.
We hated her from the first 30 seconds of the episode. So
normal people hated her really early on, but I think if he hadn't killed the one person that people liked for some reason, the stands liked, it would have been too subtle for the stands.
Listen, I am not a stan. I like the guy, even though he was a beta male, but I thought he was doing heroic stuff. And then she kills him. And it's like, okay, well, we can't even have that. Oh, they're all racist. Fuck it. They're all insufferable. Because the one good guy wasn't online all the time. He read books. He knew what he was doing. He was racist, but he was like figuring shit out. Oh, we ganked the dude.
YouTube's not going to like him anytime we said racist.
Whatever.
I don't give a shit.
I don't care anymore. Listen, they don't like us. We're covering this show anyway like this. So Either way, this is another pointless episode of Disney Doctor Who. Completely pointless. It serves nothing. It accomplished nothing. It didn't even move. It didn't. You can argue last week, and a very, very poor argument would be that Ruby had some character growth. We established she didn't because it reset and nothing happened. But where's Ruby character growth? Where's Doctor character growth in this episode? None. Nothing. Except we know that Ruby is as thirsty as the Doctor as soon as they see something. Because remember, hands off. Now you hands off. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. And now it looks, with only 3 episodes to go, though, I guess that rumor that he would try and seduce her boyfriend was a rumor, because
it might be from season 2, though, because we have seen her boyfriend is played by the same actor who played Prince Eric in The Little Mermaid, and we haven't seen him yet. We have behind the scenes
footage
of him on set.
She has a boyfriend.
Supposedly.
Well, maybe not yet. Maybe not yet.
So it might be in season 2 when Monday's in it, Sunday and Monday. But yeah, we have pictures of him on set with her. So
you are correct.
We haven't seen him yet, so that must be future.
That is
also
fair, because this episode was getting filmed before the 60th dropped, and we talked about it last week, how we had those leaks of the monsters coming out and how it did look retarded then. Made a little bit more sense that they were just walking into them, but it's still stupid.
That's one thing I mentioned while watching the episode is one of the original leaks we saw of Russell T Davies shooting were the slug monsters. We saw behind the scenes of these slug monsters. What was the point in making those big, over-the-top, practical monsters, which I thought was actually a good sign that they were using practical monsters, and then just CGIing them 100% in the episode? Why make those detailed?
Disney money.
Disney money. Because
we can.
And to be fair, they have not Doctor Who, but some shows they will make like the practical effects and then just use CGI to clean them up so they don't look so.
Cleaning up would be one thing, but they're
nasty,
clearly 100%.
They're all CGI.
Yeah, tendrils coming out in the face. Yeah.
And stand-ins are important. Stand-ins on set, but you don't need to make that good of a stand-in. That was those behind-the-scenes shots. Those stand-ins are way too.
They have Disney money and they have government money. They get to do whatever the heck they want. They got to spend it.
There it is. And let's just make that point. They spent a god awful amount of money on this. We're in outside this particular stream and other discussions. Disney Plus has spent a god awful amount of money on the Acolyte. All this money gets dumped into this stuff. What's the return? What do you get out of all this?
Well, that ends up getting into this whole streaming debates and things that are going on there, because a lot more people are starting to realize, hey, we need to be putting stuff into movie theaters because you're not getting a return on investment. We're spending way too much money on this, and it's just blowing up in your face. And that's the biggest problem. They're not making money. There's no way this is succeeding. You can go to it's imperfect on how to track how Doctor Who's been doing, but Disney is a dead streaming platform.
Yes,
it's not producing money. Week over week, it has not been on Samba TV's top 10 streamers. When it came to the Christmas special itself, that didn't even crack Nielsen streaming data. Nothing's tracking here. How are you making money? You're not. Nobody's watching the show. It is dead. You see it with the consolidated numbers. You see it with the overnight viewership. It's going down. I see this episode might push it down below.
Right,
the reaction from last episode, I think it might get below 2.
Last week, Jeremy was right. Last week's overnights maintained above 2 million. Jeremy was right, and it's painful to say that, but he got it.
Painful.
Where do we think this lines up based upon last week's overnights of what was it? 2.19,
2.46.
That was the overnight.
That was the overnight.
Okay,
last week.
2.46. All right, Jeremy, you got it right last week, so I'll let you go first. Where do you think the overnights are? We'll find out Sunday morning.
The amount, so because of the reaction of last week, where yes, stands were praising it, but they had to use headcanon. Every day, people sat down, watched that episode, and they said this was dog shit. I see it potentially dipping below 2, maybe hitting 1.9, but my safe guess is going to be at 2.0 something. 2.0. I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to drop down like it's gonna drop drastically. It ain't gonna stay up in that 2.46 and be amazing. It's gonna drop drastically.
Okay, Jet
2.0 to 1.9. That's my prediction.
So yeah, I'm looking at the numbers. Last week was 2.62, and I feel like 600,000 lost viewers is a lot. We don't really see that big of a drop. I say in 2 weeks we'll 100% see more than that. I kind of tend to agree with Dermy though. Is we'll probably get around 2. I think we'll be looking at boom numbers just above 2. I wish we were going below 2, but I still think it might take one more extra week to get below 2.
Okay, all right,
that's fair.
I'm going to be consistent. 1.9. I
one day you'll be right.
Yeah,
You will.
listen, I'm going to keep swinging away.
By the end of the episode, you'll be right.
Yeah, for the simple fact that I think I just don't. I think this continues to be massive disinterest in this, and I think there was the curiosity over Moffat episode, and
which
that did carry over to last week. But I think last week was such a nothing episode where nothing happened, nothing grew, nothing was created. You come back this week. Listen, realistically, it's probably going to be over 2, but I'm going to say 1.9 just because I want to be consistent with how I deal with this. I think after this week, there will be a severe plunge in the coming week. I mean,
well, it's this thing of like that was solely a Moffat bump from Boom, but it didn't even help Boom when the consolidated numbers came out. Those were lower than what we've been seeing. Nobody's
a lower
watching
total,
the show.
but the difference between the overnight and the consolidated was the highest that we'd seen. I can't remember what the exact number is, but the total was still lower.
And and I also think that there's no consistency to the storytelling of this season. There's nothing. There's no
you
guiding
don't
force.
need to watch this season to understand the finale.
You could watch the first 2 episodes and then go watch probably the final.
I don't even know if you need to watch the first 2 episodes. Watch the Christmas special, then the finale.
No, I think you need to watch I'm devil's advocate. You would need to watch those first 2 because they both involve Ruby's very strange backstory.
Well, they just mentioned that she has a strange backstory, whereas the Christmas special already did that.
Devil's Core is the other one you end up needing. Like, there's more to it that deals with
there's a song in her heart,
and
it also deals with Celestials. The old one was there.
Like that.
If the Pantheon's still involved, then
So that's what I'm saying. That those are good. Everything since then has been pure filler, not even adding anything to these characters.
It's bad when you have an 8-episode season and so far 4 episodes are filler.
It's almost like they took they picked up the Disney Star Wars routine and said, "Hey, let's just do what they do. Let's just have a bunch of filler and nothing happens." I mean, it's all crap anyway. But my point in bringing up is this: if you go back to Eccleston's season, season 1, Bad Wolf was littered all over that season. It was everywhere. The buildup was there. The hints were there. There was always a touch of that. We are now 3 episodes removed from the last time they mentioned Ruby's backstory. Nothing.
The only Bad Wolf thing we have is the old woman. That's it.
And that might not even be a real thing. That might just be...
It might be a
red
joke,
herring.
Yeah. But it's still not done as well. Like the Bad Wolf stuff, you can 100% believe someone's not going to be looking at graffiti and consciously thinking, "Oh, I've seen that." Like it was so much more subtle. Like you can believe the Doctor and Rose didn't notice it for a while. 100% believable. But in this episode, they're like, "Hey, she looks familiar." Yeah, but where does she look familiar? Like they're being so stupid to progress the plot.
They actually said that in this episode. "Oh, she looked familiar. I've seen her before."
It's not well done at all. This episode and this whole season as an arc is just a fool's plot. And for those of you who don't know, a fool's plot is an actual literary term.
God, I just had a thought. Now, it's probably completely out there considering they've mentioned Celestials related to Ruby. What if, and I'm putting this out there, and I'm putting it out there just so if it does happen, I look like a goddamn genius. What if Ruby's mother is Susan?
Yeah, that's been a theory out for a couple weeks. I don't think it's true.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't look at
Susan,
these things. It just popped in my head.
most of the theories are related to Susan. The other theories that I've heard is because she's connected to the Celestials, she might be the descendant of Harbinger from Devil's Cord, the little boy in the 60s. The ages could work out where he would be like in his 40s or 50s when he had her. So it could line up. That's the one that I've heard. But yeah, Susan is a prominent one.
The thing that I'm thinking is there's going to be like Susan. There's going to be something that connects the Doctor with Celestials, and that's going to end up being Ruby's past because she has a mixture of Time Lord and Celestial in her. That's the only thing that I could figure out.
Will Celestial explain the timeless children? Will the Doctor be like the Toymaker's brother or something?
Oh,
Probably.
God, yeah, you just because little perfect baby black girl came from a portal from someplace else.
Mm-hmm. He might be a Celestial now that they're doing the Pantheon or whatever they're calling it.
And especially because he's been mentioning he's not really a Time Lord. If you do the whole timeless,
but then he is a Time Lord. No, but then he is. He isn't. It's so fucked
they
up.
Can't keep it consistent.
And then you do the timeless children. Whatever her name stole the powers away from him, and
then Ruby would be his great granddaughter. Then
I want it to happen. I want it to happen. Just
the
so that
worst
it's so
theory we can come
ludicrous.
up with is what I want to happen.
I want it to happen for just the ludicrous nature of it all. Either way, next week it's Bridgerton, which all on its own is retarded and stupid because Bridgerton is god awful. And it's terrible. And
did you guys hear the stuff that's going on in season 3?
No,
my parents like Bridgerton.
I don't know.
I've never watched it, but in the news recently, the one of the fat chicks, he's the main character.
Yeah,
he demanded to have a sex scene just to own the chuds, own the haters. Like, you think I'm fat? Well, here's my naked body.
Well, I remember
they actually show off her complete nudity.
I don't think it's full frontal or anything, but it is a nude scene that she did.
Oh, here's what I know. And I only know this because Gal mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, where in the books, apparently, the fat chick loses her weight. The fat character loses her weight.
Oh, they're never going to do that.
No, but they didn't do it because she demanded not to lose weight. Mm-hmm. Said, I need to, my fat is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And so they already breaking from the continuity of the source material.
Well, so we remember that clip because we found that out because of that weird clip. The fat girl, you brought up the sex. We saw the fat girl clip where the horse neighs and she reacts. Does she want to have sex with a horse? Is that
yes,
what we're gonna get?
Well, listen, I don't know. I'm not going near Bridgerton. All I know is that next week we're gonna get our own version of it with Shudigawa.
It's gonna be so gay.
There's gonna. I'm gonna say
I would not be surprised if there's no villain in the end. Like the bird people, oh yeah, they're just normal. I'd like pull the scrolls or whatever where they're not actually the bad guys. Nothing's actually wrong, but we get this love story between him and the dude from Mind.
There'll be gay man kiss. There's gonna be a gay man kiss next week.
I think there's gonna be a sex scene, a PG sex scene, of course. Just suggestive content, but I think it's gonna be like taking each other's.
You think they're gonna go that far?
Going into a bedroom, the door shuts.
I think it might happen.
We've been making those jokes, but
they can.
We've been making those jokes that we were going to get Doctor Who sex in this, but you think it's going to happen now? You think we're going to get the allusion to?
I think we're going to get something. He's going to fall in love with that guy that he's gallivanting around with, but we might get a villain, and it might be the guy that he falls in love with. They'll probably try to do that.
I can fix him.
Yeah, it's going to be the.
I don't know if they can have back-to-back gay villains though.
I think they can
back to back with the maestro or whatever.
Oh, they can. Well, everything's gay.
So, good guys, bad guys, everything's just gay.
Everything's just gay. Right. There we go, guys. We're done with this one.
Oh,
God. Dermy, what's coming up for you the rest of this week?
We got Saturday Charity here in roughly an hour. Gonna get prepared for that. We're on Saturday. I'm not just gonna be playing Final Fantasy 14 online. Kratos also needs to build a brand new PC, and we're going to walk through that so I can learn how to buy parts for a brand new PC and build it. So there's going to be that. Plus, we'll have some other topics to go over. Then, of course, regular scheduled videos starting. Starts Tuesday, but Wednesday I'm going to start dropping my Acolyte reviews. So prepare for that, along with Doctor Who number videos, 2 a week, because I get overnights and consolidated. And then Ballbusters, where we will be having Mike Harlow come on. Who's
I don't know who that is.
He's a part of the Walk Away movement. He's also a comedian. So
Oh, okay. I get that then.
he's a
right.
pretty cool dude. I've been on
All
streams with him before.
Well, I guess I'll meet him on Friday then.
Yeah.
Jed,
Super flamboyant.
Jed, what you got coming up this week?
Just regularly scheduled live streams. I'm sure Adam will talk about the ones that we have in common, but you can find me on YouTube and Kick at Hollywood Scholar.
All right. As for myself, I'll be on Saturday in a little while. I'm playing Final Fantasy 14. If anybody's interested in finding out what we're doing there, let me know. I'm happy to share our server information if you play the game. Other than that, tomorrow is Sunday. It means 2 p.m. Eastern. Jed, myself, and the other members of the round table will be going over the week's events in our own special way. So join us then, 2 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow night, probably more gaming. Nothing streamed, though. I'll probably just be chilling out. Monday, Mellow Mondays continues 10 p.m. Eastern time change because of certain regular panel members aren't going to be around, so I'll shift the time around. So join us that. We're just going to nerd out, have a good time. And then, yes, Greasy Gumbo. Tuesday night, as Jeremy mentioned, Acolyte premieres 2 episodes Tuesday night. I will drop my review Wednesday. There probably won't be a natural 20 because that's going to burn me out for the day, man. It's going to burn me out. So, yes, I will be doing Acolyte next week in addition to this. And then next Saturday night, Drive-In, Jed and I will be watching 10 Things I Hate About You because I'm in the mood to do a Shakespeare adaptation discussion. So we'll be doing that. And then next Saturday, we'll be also right back here for more Doctor Who Cares reviews. So thanks to Jeremy and Jed for joining me this evening. Thanks to everybody across all 3 of our channels. We're happy to have you here. We hope you had a good time. Remember, hit that like button, subscribe to the channels, and keep tuning in because we're here to suffer for your entertainment. Good night, everybody.